This is El Loco for Leeds.
Hello there and welcome to El Loco for Leeds. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United, and today I've got a Rumours Round Leeds special for you, and I'm very happy to be joined by George from Bayern Now, and we're talking about one man today, and it's that man Michael Cuisance. So George, welcome to the channel. Thanks a lot for joining me. How are you doing?
Well, first of all, I didn't know I was getting myself into a situation where I have to call another person George. I didn't know that. But yeah, Michael Cuisance leaving Bayern Munich, it came just out of nowhere. I didn't think it was real. And then Fabrizio Romano tweeted about it, and it looks like it's happening. Negotiations are on. Marcelo Bielsa wants him to murder him on the training ground. And I'm sure the Leeds fans are probably just excited to hear about him.
Oh yeah, mate, absolutely. But you know, like you, I was a bit like, no, that's not real, really. But then when Fabrizio Moran, like you say, when he says something, it tends to be real, doesn't it? And it
Right.
seems like it is, you know, because I saw the rumours sort of came out last week, didn't they? And yeah, you kind of just thought, well, that's not going to happen. And then look where we are now. And you know, the latest news is that they're in talks. Bayern are in talks. Leeds are in talks with Bayern to discuss a kind of transfer fee now, aren't we? So it's looks like it's happening. But I just wanted to ask you how you're feeling about all of it, you know, and how
Right.
You know, how does it impact Bayern, this sort of transfer?
Well, Cuisance came here last season from Mönchengladbach, and he wasn't getting much play time there, but he was incredibly talented. He came to Bayern, and he got 15 minutes more play time than he did at Gladbach. So 284 to 302 minutes. So 15 minutes difference. He got play time. Well, not really, but I guess there was some sort of mix-up with the manager because he's not getting guarantees for games, but I guess he wants to leave. I was thinking it was going to be a loan deal, but it didn't actually end up being the case. So what's happening now is Bayern Munich need to either sell him or keep him. But I'm sure the Leeds fans, first of all, are just happy to hear. I'm not sure how Bielsa is going to fit him into the system. But Bayern Munich, I'm not sure where this came from. I thought he was going to stay. He just joined us, but he's so talented. So that's something that's probably nicer to hear.
Yeah, you know, like I say, I mean, me, like many Leeds fans, probably, you know, really just excited to be mixing it with this kind of talent, you know, when we saw those rumours. But, I mean, yeah, I can't believe that he's actually looking like he's joining. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting. And but how do you feel, George? How do you think he'll integrate into the Premier League? And I don't know how much you've seen of Leeds.
I watched a few games, yeah. Big fan of Bielsa too. I'm a big fan of Bielsa.
Yeah, I mean, Bielsa's great. I mean, he's completely transformed our team, and you know, in the city as well. He's got everybody feeling good about the team again, where they weren't before. They weren't. Everybody, it seems to be that everybody's united and everything with the team again, which is great, really. But I just wonder how you see him fitting into our system and to the Premier League as well. You know, because obviously he's never before played in the Premier League. He's come from obviously the Bundesliga. So how do you see him fitting into this? You know, to the
Hey, first of all, you're speaking like the Premier League produces some RoboCops, and yeah, but I get what you mean. Yeah, he never played in the Premier League, and you know that'd be the same thing. We're linked to Tariq Lamptey. He's never played in the Bundesliga, so. But the thing is, with Cuisance, he has a lot of energy, so he definitely would fit that pressing system that you like playing, and just obviously being in that system I think Leeds play closer to Bayern than most people think because of their pressing, always pressing. It's probably like the most important principle. And then for me, one thing I watch with Leeds is that you don't play through the middle a lot. So you're usually using the wide overloads with Ailing. So that's usually your point of attacks. And then Calvin Phillips in there. So Cuisance can actually play as that deep line playmaker, the tempo setter. He can move the ball, great passing range. So maybe that's why Bielsa wants him. Maybe potentially as a partner next to Calvin Phillips or as the number 8 in that 4-1-4-1. So that's where I could see him. And then that could mean you play through the center a lot more because he's a great dribbler. He, apart from Thiago in our entire squad, he averaged the most dribbles. So he's great at just dribbling, close control, passing range, left-footed. So, and he scores these incredible. He can't score from inside the box, but he can definitely do it from outside the box.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a few highlights of him, hitting it in from like say outside the box. Seems to have a good, good shot on him really. So I think, to be honest, I think he'll fit in well. I mean, I don't see Bielsa changing the system to kind of fit in, but I do think he's definitely, he'll definitely fit in somewhere. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. But I saw there was a few kind of reports of him having a bit of a bust up in training with Lewandowski. There's a bit of a question to George about his kind of attitude.
That's been the question.
Do you think that's a problem, or is it just just a kind of he's young, he'll kind of get over it kind of thing?
Well, he might get sold really quick, like Brian Clough, but he might be gone out of Leeds really, really quick. But seriously, the situation with Lewandowski, they laughed on it on Twitter. Apparently, it was just build. They have their agendas against Bayern, so they try to make up this situation. But yeah, he does have some attitude issues. He wants to play, so I can imagine if he doesn't play. Against Chelsea, he had a whole tantrum because he didn't come on. So that was something that we noticed. He always had that in his just character. But the thing is, when you have someone that's going to murder you like Bielsa, then maybe that could fix the issue. So Cuisance, he has an attitude issue. He definitely, if you read his interviews, he's very confident in himself. They asked him how he felt about going to the under-21s Euros with his country, France, and he said the Euros, the main senior squad Euros were there. He's a very cocky, confident guy.
He does seem a bit like that, George, to be honest with you, very confident in his ability. But then again, you want people to be like that, don't you? Young footballers, in a way.
Right.
You want them to be that kind of ambitious, kind of going forward. But he's going to have to... He might have to just tone that down a little bit because our team I think the recruitment at Leeds have worked very hard to get these kind of players in that haven't got the egos, that are just kind of working for the team. So he might have to tone it down a little bit in his kind of, particularly working for Bielsa, because Bielsa, he won't have anything like that. He's very much, like I say, they've worked very hard to kind of integrate everybody, that everybody's working for each other. So we can't have any kind of prima donna kind of type players in there. But I'm really, really excited about this transfer, and I hope that he comes through with with the goods really for us, and it shows our ambition as well, George, to really go for these type of players, And I'm very, very excited. But what do you see for Bayern then, George? How do you see it impacting on Bayern Munich and their kind of, going forward with that? Because they've got the smallest squad, haven't they now?
Right.
So how do you feel like that's going to impact on how, going forward in their central midfield position? How do you see the kind of that situation unfolding?
Yeah, well, selling Cuisance is definitely not going to help. We need to sign a few players. We need a right back. We're looking at Tariq Lamptey from Brighton. We're looking at Callum Hudson-Odoi. We're looking at a lot of English players, essentially. Yeah. So, we might be Brexit FC, essentially. But we're looking at a lot of players all over the place. But this would affect Bayern because he was young. talented. I wouldn't say he would have been starting games, which is why you could see him wanting to move. And I respect that from him because he's young. He wants to play every week. So I thought a loan would have been feasible, but he wants to move. He just, and that's fine. That's fine. But I wouldn't say this would affect us like that, where we need to buy a new midfielder. This would affect us, but we were going to need a midfielder with Thiago leaving anyways. And everyone thought he would be the Thiago replacement, that, you know, deep lying playmaker with lots of technical ability but can also defend. And that's something that's underrated in this game. He's French, but people think he's more of a Zidane, but he's actually very good defensively. So yeah, it wouldn't really affect Bayern.
No. I mean, you've got those young players coming through, haven't you, at Bayern?
Right.
So that, you know, that hopefully Bayern will do well this time. You know, but I just want to ask you, George, about it because I noticed today that the manager was saying about Cuisance is being involved in the squad for tomorrow's game against Dortmund, which is a massive game for you guys, isn't it?
Basically, the rumors were that the manager definitely wanted to keep him. He liked him as a player, but Cuisance thought he wanted more play time. And then the board, the sporting director, he just opened the door for that transfer to actually happen. So that's where Leeds came in. Olympique Marseille wanted him on loan. That's why they played us in preseason. They really liked him on loan. And I thought it was going to happen. But then when Thiago left, I was like, okay, this is Cuisance's chance to establish himself as a first-team player and play week in, week out and have a huge part to play because there's such a congested schedule, 3 games a week now, 2 games a week. It's pretty ludicrous. So I thought that would probably convince him or just push him to stay. But he wants more play time, and I'm guessing the conversations between the manager, Hansi Flick, and Cuisance didn't go as smoothly as he thought of. So that's why he's leaving. And then, you know, I think he's still in the squad because we have no other choices. So he has to be in there until the transfer's done. So yeah, I can see it's happening. It has to happen.
Yeah, I mean that's good news from our point of view, you know. And like I said, I did notice Hansi Flick said, yeah, he's in the squad. He kind of opened the door for it to kind of be.
Yeah, he said that about Thiago too.
Oh, did he? Right, yeah.
Yeah, right. He said that about as long as he's here, I'm planning with him. A day later,
really?
Liverpool announced Thiago. So yeah.
Because he said that Javi Martinez as well, obviously, is rumoured to be going to Bilbao, isn't he, as well?
Right,
so obviously that gives you even more lighter resources in that sort of area. But yeah, you know, I'm very, very excited about Cuisance and from what I've seen and what I've kind of read about him as well. I must admit, I didn't know a great deal about him before.
Right.
He's kind of, I mean, I've heard his name and that sort of thing. George,
Yeah, we signed him too. Didn't know who he was when we signed him. So yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
When we wanted him, Arsenal wanted him. So I thought, oh, okay. It was a last-minute buy in 2019 where, you know, the transfer, Bayern always do these types of players. They just buy someone out of nowhere, and you're thinking, who's that? And then they could turn into a great player. And then sometimes they don't get play time, and they have to go out on loan. So I'm glad Cuisance definitely impressed you, but he should. He's a very good player, very, very talented.
He did well with Mönchengladbach as well, didn't he? So, you know, that obviously prompted Bayern to get him. So he's obviously got something, and he'll be, I'm sure he'll be involved in the French squad going forward as well, George. So.
Quick question.
Yeah,
when did Leeds United get more money than Bayern? Because you're running as fast as Usain Bolt in the transfer window, and Bayern's an old grandma that needs new legs. No, we don't have any money to spend. Where are you getting this money from? Bielsa must be. He's fundraising from Argentina.
I've no idea, you know, George. I think obviously getting promoted is kind of up to our money, but you know, I wouldn't have said it upped it to that kind of to this much. I mean, we've already spent nearly 30 million on Rodrigo. We've nearly spent we've spent a lot of money on Robin Koch as well, and also Llorente, and now we're spending 20 million euros on Cuisance, and we'll probably have another one as well before the transfer window is out. So I've no idea, mate. But it's great to finally be involved in these sort of transfers because we've had so many years of just being dull, and we've had to watch these other teams come
or
up.
you have the manager now. You have the manager, and he wants his players.
That's the other thing, George. Bielsa is the main reason why a lot of these players are coming as well. I'm pretty sure of it. They've all been asked about him when they're signed, and they say, "Oh no, it's Leeds and all this." But we know that it's Bielsa. Bielsa pulls them in, doesn't he? And they all want to work for him as well, which is fantastic. Really, it's great. It's a great time to be a Leeds United fan at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. And hopefully we'll be able to come and play Bayern soon. In that.
No. Well, actually, on that, what are Leeds looking for to be in the champion? Because I mean, what you did to Liverpool, players I've never heard of just turning into Ronaldo Nazario and Messi. What are Leeds looking to do this season? Is it a top half finish or just survive relegation? Because these players aren't surviving relegation players. You're buying some very good players. You're pretty much buying Europa League. You're trying to get into that. So I think that's what Leeds are doing. Is that true?
Well, I mean, for me and for many Leeds fans, they just say, "Stay up, George, stay up." That's a priority.
Oh, you're definitely staying up. I can predict the Premier League for you. It's going to be Fulham, 20th, West Brom, and then it's going to be West Ham or Newcastle, whoever. Leeds are definitely staying up, but you don't look like you're trying to do that in the market. You look like you're trying to win the league. So that's pretty funny.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? And certainly from an outside point of view, but for me personally, stay up first, and then we can build on it. But these players, like you say, mate, are kind of way above that, and so far we're looking like that. Really, to be fair, we had a good game against Liverpool, like you say. We won the next two, even though we looked a bit leaky against Fulham. But we bought in Llorente, which will hopefully see to tighten that up as well, and we tightened it up against Sheffield United. So I'm excited for the season. I'm just excited to be back in the Premier League, to be honest with you, and just mixing it. It's great to see us involved in these games, and we've got City on the weekend, and and all these teams, Man United coming to Ellen Road. And it's just a shame the fans can't be involved in it, George. But I mean, what are your hopes for Bayern for the season, mate? I mean, what do you?
Well, I mean, we're champions of Europe, but we're definitely not, acting like them. I mean, we need about 4 players. I mean, that's crazy to think about in a matter of 6 days. So, yeah, my hopes are just to get to the Champions League final because we have a manager that knows how to do that. He did it with Germany, did it last season. Just get to the semifinals because I don't know. It just feels like it's a weird season. Games every 3 days, so that's incredible. But thanks for having me on.
That's all right, mate. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming and chatting with us. I appreciate it. It's good of you to give your time and everything. And I'd like to say good luck for Bayern as well. I once went to see Bayern actually, and at the Allianz. Have you ever been across there?
I was supposed to go this year, but COVID-19.
It's a great stadium, and they do. It's a real good atmosphere there. Hopefully, I mean, I'd love to be able to be playing Bayern Munich at some point soon.
The ambition's there. Yeah, I mean, the Premier League is. I mean, most teams look at United dropping off, crap manager. You have one of the best managers in the world. I mean, what he's doing with the players he has is actually incredible. I like Bielsa. Always liked him. Always liked how he just stuck to his style. He reminds me of just a polished version of Pep Guardiola, has the man management, doesn't fake interview. He oozes calmness. So I'm hoping that Leeds can actually do something and I can watch them more. Watch them versus Fulham. shouldn't be waking up that early to watch Leeds, but I did, and it was a fun game. Scored a few goals, so so no problem with Leeds whatsoever.
It was a nervy game, that, mate. It was a real, we went 4-1 up and you're cruising, and then they bring back a couple of goals. Oh, it was a bit nervy to watch that one, but it was great for the neutral, like you say. But it's great to hear that, sort of yourself, a Bayern Munich fan, is waking up early doors to watch Leeds, and that's for me as a Leeds fan, it's great to hear, fans like that waking up and looking forward to watching Leeds, and and that's what Bielsa has done for us, George. It's fun, and to have players like Cuisance and Llorente and Rodrigo in, it can only improve us. So I'm very excited for the season ahead, and like I say, hopefully at some point in the next few years, maybe we can rekindle that kind of
build on that, build on it.
Yeah, build on it. You know what I mean? And then we can maybe see games against Bayern again, and the elite of Europe, really. So exciting times ahead.
Right.
All right, mate. Well, thanks very much for joining me, like I say, and I really appreciate your time and your thoughts on Cuisance as well. And go follow George and Bayern Now. I'll put the links in the description, and go check his channel out.